It's beer o'clock and we're at the Great British Beer Festival, and guess what? Mark's here.
Hey, what are you doing my intro for? That's my job.
Well, because I do the interview bits, so I'm doing it today. So you can do an introduction if you want. Do you want to do an introduction from the Great British Beer Festival?
No, I'm all right. It's all right. Go ahead.
Okay, so we're in. We've had our first two halves. First one that we had was the collaboration Tawny Owl from Hogsback with a friend of the show, Andy Parker, at Tabamatu. Mark, what did you think of that beer?
That was very nice, Andy. You should be commended for delivering such a fine ale via Hogsback. Congratulations.
Indeed. I, again, not going to add anything to that. It was a quality beer, had Andy's stamp all over it. So we've swiftly moved on from there, and much on my say-so, because I was intent on heading after that beer straight to the Magic Rock. We found Magic Rock and we're on the Carnival. Mark, what do you think of the Carnival?
I've had it before. It's smooth as anything. Far too easy. It's only 4%, so it's all right. But, oh, fucking lovely.
It's a quality summer ale, isn't it? The Carnival. It is one that you could literally drink all day long.
It's just gorgeous.
And guess what? Ex-number one fans here with us. And Stath, welcome back to the Beer O'Clock Show.
It's emotional, Steve. 12 months on since the last time we were here, and you know what? It's going to be better than last year. We're going to go past 5 o'clock.
And you're on the Carnival as well. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, loving the Carnival. Easy drinking, full of flavour, living the dream.
Okay, so here's the plan then for this year's Beer O'Clock Show Great British Beer Festival clips. We've just decided that a good idea is going to be to go to every bar and sample a single beer from every bar. We will update you on the progress of that little task that we've set ourselves throughout the day and throughout the show.
My name is Mark, and joining me, with his eyebrows still floating in a swimming pool of Magic Rock, is my beer buddy Steve. Hello, Steve.
Hello, Mark. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, mate.
Have you dried out a bit from Friday?
Just about, yes. I had a few beers at the Great British Beer Festival.
We'll get to audio evidence of that throughout the show. That first clip at the beginning of the show was just when we were all starting off. It was all nice and innocent. We'd had about a pint's worth of beer by that point, and over the course of the next few hours, things went rapidly downhill. But we'll be having little clips about that throughout the show, much to everyone's amusement, I'm sure. But this is our final episode. We've got an intensely special beer for this week, but we'll get to that in just a little bit. Friday was the Great British Beer Festival, as you just said.
It was.
And it was my first one. I will admit I didn't last that long.
No, you went like the clappers, mate. You was like a rabbit out of the trap.
It was
like
so
you'd
exciting.
Never seen beer before. Honestly.
It was exciting. There was so much beer to be had. And I had as much as you did within the space of 3 hours, but I think I did mine much more quickly than you did.
I think you did, and that burger might have killed you in the middle as well. So
that I ate that to soak the beer up, but it may have put me in a coma, especially after I paid for it and the price of it.
Yeah.
Jesus. Never again. What did you think of the beer festival, mate?
Without wanting to sound too controversial, and there's two things here that I want to say about this year's Great British Beer Festival. Was that obviously we went on the Friday, which you know if you're going to go to a beer festival that starts on the Tuesday, by the time you get there on a Friday, all of the good stuff's going to be gone, which is fair enough. But I think what I was a little bit disappointed with was the amount of people that seemed to be there from early doors on the Tuesday and the Wednesday, but that had nothing good to say about it. And I just kind of wonder why bother going once or in some cases twice if all you're going to do is go onto social media and slag it off. You know, it was something that really disappointed me about this year. The other thing that I wanted to say was that actually that I thought it was just a little bit uninspiring in terms of the beers that were there. I mean, we completed a full circuit of the bars in about 3 hours. Now that was doing thirds at most of the bars. Now we didn't do any of the foreign bars. We didn't do any of the European bars or the American bars. We just stuck to the British bars. And I was really disappointed when I got to the end, and I was like, oh, is that kind of it? And I just wonder if the Great British Beer Festival needs to up its game a little bit. That's all. It feels like this year they've tried to give a great big visible two fingers to the whole craft beer scene. We always know the Great British Beer Festival is going to be a success, but I think their beer needs to get better.
Well, I mean, on both points there, I think it's quite easy for people, especially on the first point that you made, I think it's very easy for people to get cynical when they have, especially London-based people, because they have all of these Brewdog bars, and they have other pubs that have like 10, 15 taps on, always with great craft beer. So it's very easy for them to turn up at the GBBF and be cynical about what is essentially a Camera Real Ale festival.
Yeah, let's not forget that as well.
Yeah, they're not really catering to the craft scene. They do have a couple of craft brewers in there, like Magic Rock, and they have Thornbridge there. Not that Thornbridge doesn't do its traditional beers. They do. But for me, I went there. I guess I went there because it was my first time, and expecting a smorgasbord of beer similar to what you get when you go to a Brewdog and you see 20 beers on tap. But obviously expecting quite a few more. But instead, it was a smorgasbord of real ales. A lot of them quite lowish ABV, 5% and under. But from around the country, and I just thought that was amazing that you would go to a bar that had beers from 4 regions, and there would be 20 or 30 brewers on the board. And I thought that personally was great. I didn't think the beers were necessarily great. There was a lot of very average pints, but then it's beer that's catering to the average person, and it's a gathering of brewers from around the country, and not all of them are importing hops from New Zealand. Some of them are just relying on the traditional hops and trying different recipes and going about their business. So I do think if you're coming at it from a Camera hasn't moved on with the whole craft beer scene, then yeah, you're going to be a little bit cynical. But also, if you're going there looking for some great beer flavours, then you may be disappointed if you're used to the style of beers that we've been drinking on the show and that you can get in other bars and stuff. Personally, I thought it was great. I thought there was a great variety of beer. If you search for it, you could find the little gems throughout it. But, I mean, it wasn't terribly exciting. It was exciting if you just love ale and you want to try different things.
Yeah, I mean, it's the first time I've ever done kind of the whole thing of going in. I didn't have a list this year, and I just went in. There were a couple of beers that I was absolutely always going to try. I wanted to do Andy Parker's collaboration with Hogsback, and I wanted to do the Magic Rock Carnival, and that was pretty much it. But so I went in with a very open mind of then going round and having a beer from. I think we decided at the beginning, and I think we said in that opening clip that our plan was to have one beer from each bar, and that was kind of an eye-opener for me, because there were at least 2 occasions where I stood there in front of a bar and I was like, I simply don't know what I'm going to have here. And you speak to the staff at the bar, and they're quite knowledgeable, and they'll help you decide, and they'll give you little tasters as well. And yeah, there was nothing that was ever going to stop the world from turning, but there were some good beers there this year, and I know we've got some clips coming up of some of those throughout the show, and I think the last one I had before I moved on to what's now becoming my annual half pint of St Austell Big Job, I had a Thornbridge Jaipur. Now you can get that pretty much anywhere these days, but this was like cask Jaipur. And to be honest with you, it was tasting absolutely bang on. It was tasted exactly how I wanted it to taste. The thing that got me down was the fact that after I had that Jaipur, and that was the last bar that we were at, there was nothing to make me want to go round again or to stay there. any longer, and I think that's where there needs to be something more for people, and I don't know what that is, and it's something that I actually want to investigate when we're on the lock-in with the people that we've got on. I want to have a bit of a debate on that, about the Great British Beer Festival and what next, because I know there was quite a few people that we've got coming on the lock-in that were there either before or during, saying it's just a bit boring, it's just a bit safe, and I'd like to get an idea of what people want from it next year.
I'd like to know what they consider safe. Is it just because there's no mega ABV beers, or what is it? When I was there, one thing I would have really liked is when they got the list of breweries and the beers they've got up on the board, to have a note of what style each beer is, because they do have the little notes that are underneath the thing, basically above where the casks are. But it'll be nice. Here's this beer from this brewery. It's this style. Because I was just looking at things by the ABV, because by the end I was going for the lower ones, because I didn't want to be completely mullered by 2 p.m. But it would be nice to know, this one's got gold in its name, so it's probably a golden beer. Or this one, I don't know. Some of them had IPA in the name, so you could kind of figure that they're going to be an IPA, or they've got white, so they might be a wheat beer or something. But that would be a really nice addition if they just had a little note next to each one of what style it is.
Well, you do get that in the programme, but I think the programme was firmly stuck in my pocket, and I'd forgotten it was there, only to find it on Saturday morning when I got home. But if you don't actually pick up a programme, then yeah, you are relying on saying, okay, well, what's here? And sometimes the programme isn't the easiest to work through either.
No, and I'm not really one to make a plan. I want to go and be inspired by a list that I see. It's like when I go to the Old Fountain, I'll look at the list and go, well, that one looks really interesting. That's a particular style I've not had for a little while. I'm going to get that one. Little things like that. But anyway, it was a great day out. I got to meet Stath, former number one fan, now number one fan in my book. Got to meet him finally, non-virtually. He'll never hear this because he doesn't listen anymore.
No, I'm sure Doody will have something to say about that, but then he'll never hear this because he doesn't listen anymore either.
Yeah, exactly. So it was a great day out. I got to hang out with you for a few hours, which is always, good fun. But yeah, anyway, there you go. There's going to be clips, as we said, of the Little Beery Adventures. Some of the later ones. Stick around and listen to the later ones. They are worth listening to. I'm not in them. I was tucked up in bed by that time.
Is it worth saying at this point that after just so people are aware, after we did the full circuit of the Great British Beer Festival, Stath and Greg and David Martin, Greg at Greg 1954 and David at RDG Martin on Twitter, the four of us decided to head off to Brewdog at Shepherd's Bush, where upon arrival we found Magic Rock Cannonball was on. So you can just imagine how these clips end up sounding by the end of tonight's show.
It's a definition of going downhill, I think you could say.
Rapidly, yes, yeah. As well.
With the wheels off, or with the brakes off. Anyway, shall we get to the news, mate? The final news of season 4.
Yes, let's.
Beep 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 beep.
Nice. Just about makes up for the lack of pips last week, which a few people commented on, mate. So I hope you took note that there were comments about that. People love the pips. Okay, so this week's news. Beer Day Britain is coming in 2015 on June the 15th. And this is going to become an annual event. It's Britain is going to celebrate everything about beer, basically, on that day. June the 15th has been selected because that was the date that the Magna Carta was sealed in 2015, and Article 35 of the Charter said Let there be throughout our kingdom a single measure of wine and a single measure of ale and a single measure for corn, namely the London Quarter. So Beer Day Britain is going to celebrate everything that's great about Britain. It launched a couple of weeks ago. You can follow them on Twitter at Beer Day Britain. Check out the website beerdaybritain.co.uk. Don't expect too much from it just yet because it is still almost a year away. But because we're so prepared, we're lining up something special for Beer Day Britain. You don't know this yet, but we are. We'll be doing something special around that date next year. So
I can't wait to hear what it is.
We'll be talking about that again in season 6, probably. So Beer Day Britain, check it out. Next up, Thornbridge are on tour throughout the UK. So over the next 3 months, Thornbridge are appearing. They're taking their pop-up bar to a number of events, culminating in their appearance at the Indie Man Beer Convention in Manchester. But just some dates of note. During September, there's an event on the 9th at the Grove in Huddersfield. 19th to the 21st of September, Craft Beer Rising in Glasgow, and then 30th of September, a tap takeover at Crate Brewery in London, which I have written my name all over for that one. But for more information, thornbridgebrewery.co.uk, and click on the link to their Thornbridge on Tour and their picture of a camper van covered in Thornbridge branding. And finally, it wouldn't be the end of season show and it wouldn't be the news without this week's Brewdog news. New bar opened up, Brewdog Clapham Junction, actually located in Battersea, apparently. It's their 17th bar in the UK, 22nd worldwide, but it's the first to be opened in South London by the brewery. It's got a capacity for 120 people, and will feature 24 beers on tap. More information about that, brewdog.com, and have a look at details about their bars. And so, for the last time this season, mate, that ends the news.
Yay! Beep, 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 beep. Right, moving on to this week's special beer, the last beer we're going to review this season. This is a very special beer indeed. It is an 11%er. I did not realise this when Steve gave me the bottle. What a beer to end on. It's one that everyone seems to know. It's apparently a really popular beer. It is the Good King Henry Special Reserve 2011, a limited edition oak matured Imperial Stout. Steve, what are you doing to me, buddy?
Mate, it's the end of season. It wouldn't, we like to finish the seasons with a big special beer. This is it. This season, I came across this a few months ago. I think it was actually while we were on our mid-season break that this was released. Now, this was only just released, although this was the 2011 Reserve Edition. This has only just been released. It's available in very, very limited quantities as well. There's not a lot of these beers produced. But the reason why this beer is so special, it's not just because it's 11%, but this beer, for the last 6 years, has been the most highly rated British beer on ratebeer.com. So that must say something about this beer.
It must.
I don't know what it says about the rate beer community, but what it does say is that this is a good beer. And I was quite lucky to get my hands on a couple of bottles of it, and I thought, you know what a great way to finish what has probably been the best season that we've done so far. To finish it with a 275ml, 11% Imperial Stout.
Indeed. Right. Well, let's crack it open, mate.
All right, then.
Let's get the head off this one, and let's give it a little bit of a smell, and give it a little bit of a pour.
Oh, big.
Oh, wow.
Boozy aroma coming out of that bottle.
Oh, that's lovely. a lovely stouty nose on it with that hint of booze in the background.
It is, yeah. You're getting. It doesn't say which barrels it's been aged in. It's oak matured, so it's only been aged in oak barrels. But you're getting that aroma just coming out of it straight away.
That's really smoky,
there's
isn't it?
vanilla, there's chocolate, there's a hint of smoke. I want to get this in a glass and have a look at what this looks like. Oh, it's as thick and as black as treacle.
Oh my God.
And it's pouring. It's got a lovely caramel colour head to it. The head just looks like brown sugar. That just looks like an absolute...
I got no head on mine.
Stunning beer.
But then I'm pouring it into quite a goblety glass. But
the aroma coming off of that now it's out of the bottle. It's just everything that was there from the bottle, but just amplified.
yeah, it's like a sweet blackness, isn't it?
Yeah, that just smells incredible. I mean, I know when Ed was on last week and we mentioned it, Ed got very, very excited about this beer. Just tonight, as we've announced that this is what we're recording this week, Justin's got very, very excited about the fact that we're drinking this beer as well. It's a beer that is very well revered among the beer community. So just from the aroma, you can probably begin to understand why maybe it's been the highest rated British beer for 6 years in a row.
Yeah. Well, before we get to the tasting of this, let's have another clip from the Great British Beer Festival.
So bar number 7, we are at the Tightrope Bar at GBBF, and there are 3 of us here that have decided to go for the Triple F Citrusonic. So, Ant, first of all, what do you think of it, mate?
Yeah, great nose, classic Citra, absolutely loving it, brilliant, exactly what you'd expect from a Citra beer.
And also here with us now is Glenn Johnson at St Glen in person, not just on the podcast with us. Glenn, what do you think of the Citra Triple F?
Just smelling it, you know it's going to taste fantastic. The aroma of this beer is absolutely amazing, and it's a beer I've been looking for the last 12 months, and now I've got to taste it. It tastes as good as it smells. This is fantastic.
And I have to agree, it's like straight away you get the aroma of Citra, it's there, and then you get the taste, and it's all the Citra, it's lemon, it's lime, and it's just cleansing the palate. Back later.
Alrighty, the boys extolling the virtues there of Citra Triple F. Which, by that point, I'd gone home. I believe.
No, you were around for Citra Triple F, weren't you? Didn't you have one?
No. I heard you guys going on about all the Citra, hashtag all the Citra, but I didn't know if that was Citra Triple F or not.
Okay. From what I can remember, the Citra Triple F was one of the standout beers of the day for me. It was right up there because it was a proper Citra bomb.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably as close to it came as being a real, the kind of drink that I really go for, that I found.
See, I know you missed out on the More Revival, but I think you would have loved the More Revival.
Well, it smelt amazing.
Yeah.
Your sample of it smelt fantastic. Maybe I should have made a beeline back and done that before I left.
It's kind of like an easy gamma ray.
Yes, yeah.
Type beer. Anyway, shall we get into this beer, mate?
Yes,
Good King Henry Special Reserve 2011. Final beer of the year.
Let's do
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, mate.
Fucking hell.
Quote of the season right there. Wow.
That is thick.
Yeah. Smooth, thick. The minute it started approaching my lips, I could feel the warmth coming off of it before it even hit me. It hit me just really, really smooth, a nice boozy burn to it, giving way to a little bit of smokiness and a lovely soft bit of finish. There's so much going on in there.
That sums it up really well. It's like it didn't trip over my tongue. It kind of slowly oozed over my tongue
Yeah.
and gradually lined the entirety of my mouth with this smoky, boozy burn.
Wow.
It does feel like my mouth is lined with something now.
Yeah. That's stunning. That is a really, really good beer. I need to be careful here because I don't just want to end up necking it all in one because it's so tasty, but it is just really it's really thick, and it just comes across, and as you say, it sort of coats your tongue. But then it's giving you kind of dark fruits. There's a little bit of dark chocolate in there. Strangely enough, for this sort of beer, there's absolutely no hint of coffee or anything like that. But there's a lot of vanilla, and then there's almost a sugary sweetness towards the end. And then it just finishes lovely and smooth, and actually smooth in a dry sort of way as well. That makes you want to. It's one of these that instantly makes you want to go back for another gulp and another and another. But that's incredible. That is.
Yeah, it's like a dark tasting thick milk. That kind of
Yes.
mouthfeel.
Yeah.
This is fitting of the end of season, I think. This is.
So I've not let you down here, have I, mate?
You have not.
I'm going to have to up my game for next season now.
Yeah.
I think. Although I think I've already told you that I'm not telling you. I know what beer we're doing at the end of next season, but I'm not telling you what it is, and I'm actually going to give it to you probably the week before, and you're not allowed to open it until the actual night of the recording. So it's going to
Is
be
it Fug
this
already
whole-
done from the Isle of Wight?
Oh no, you sussed me. No,
Maybe
it's
not.
much better than that. Much better. So yeah, that's something to look forward to. But this is, as you say, it's fitting of our end of season celebration.
Yeah. Now, Justin on Twitter said, after you said that I wasn't allowed to scull it, and I'm in no hurry to finish this beer now, Justin said it's one to sip and to savour.
Yeah.
So while we do that, segue time. Why don't we go into a little look back at season 4? I have the list of beers here that we've done this. We said last week, I think it was last week, that this has felt like one of the longest seasons ever, because we did split it in the middle. But looking at this list of beers, we've gotten through a shit ton of beers this season, and I think that it is one of the better list of beers we've done. There's only one supermarket staple in here. The rest of it is stuff that you would have to go hunting for or not go to Sainsbury's for. You're not going to find most of this in Morrison's. Unless you've got a really good Morrison's.
Yeah, no, I don't think you're going to find any of it in Morrison. You're definitely not going to find good King Henry in Morrison's, mate.
So I'm going to run through the list of beers we've done on this season up until last week's. And here we go. Hop Stuff Renegade IPA. The Ridge and Broken Dial from Harveston. Hog's Back Traditional English Ale, which you probably will find in Morrison's, actually.
Yeah.
Rawaka Hop Mule. Hot Mountain Pale Ale. Bengali Tiger. Fade to Black by Weirdbeard. Piston Head Lager. Black Mountain from Brains. Colonel London Sour. Thornbridge Sequoia. Camden Town Hell's Lager and USA Unfiltered. Marble Dobber. Jolly Jester from Hillside. Pump House Pale Ale from Sandbrooks. Anchor Steam Beer. Hogstar Lager and Montezuma's Chocolate Lager. Beavertown Fivesome, which was Smog Rocket 8-Ball, Gamma Ray, Black Betty and Neck Oil. Oh, that was an epic show.
It was an epic.
Harvestoon's Oraxley. Saison Citra by Brew Bar Numbers. Bishop's Finger. And Orval, which was last week's beer. And we're finishing off with Good King Henry. Now
that is some list.
To think, it seems like absolute ages ago that we did that Harvestoon doubleheader with the Ridge and Broken Dial.
Yeah.
It seems like another season.
And actually, you know what you've missed off of that list as well?
What?
Was the 5 Fuller's beers that we did as well. Which
Yeah,
because
because I couldn't remember which ones they were, apart from London Porter and Black Cab Stout.
That's fair enough, but that and I think it's right what you've said. If you look at it, this season goes all the way back to February.
Wow.
So, we did have the break and we split it, and it was season 4, part 1, season 4, part 2, probably really season 4 and 5, actually, by the amount of weeks that we do. But yeah, it's been a big season, but for me, I think it's been the season where we've matured as well. Our palates have evolved to a point where we're tasting more. We've become more adventurous with the beers that we're drinking. It's been great to have so many guests on this season as well. We've sort of pushed it up a notch with the interviews and the other things that we're including, and I just think I've been really happy with this season, and I don't want it to finish. And I know we say this at the end of every season, but I just want to stop having seasons and just drink all of the time.
Well, if you consider that on our summer break, we've got 2 recordings to do.
Yeah, we've got our standard summer special, which seems to be becoming an annual feature, and then we've got the carnage that will be the lock-in. We're only actually off air for I think 2 weeks.
So we're not going to get much of a break from each other. It's like you've popped away for a week camping again.
Sorry, I just had my nuzzle in the glass of Good King Henry there, because I'm loving this beer. But no, it's I've really enjoyed it. Has there been any particular highlights for you, mate, from that lot?
Absolutely, there has. I remember the Rawaka Hot Mule being an absolutely gorgeous beer. Colonel London Sour, I had another one of those last night. It's going to be one. It's so easy, so different to the other type of beers I normally drink. Do you remember? It smells like champagne when you pour it out. It's got that. My wife even took a sip and thought, well, that's not too bad, and she hates beer. But the absolute highlight from the entire season was Smog Rocket by Beavertown.
Good shout.
And if you think before the start of the season, I was not a black beer fan, and that's a porter that I'll be going back to. I think if I see cans, I'm buying the cans, and it's a beer that I'm going to continually go back to. And those are my standouts from this season. What about you?
I think it's a little bit of a cop-out to say this one, but this is I'm absolutely blown away by this Good King Henry. This is a really
yeah,
good,
absolutely.
good beer.
I didn't include this in my list of beers to consider, but this is amazing. Yeah. But what others from the season, buddy?
What else going back over the season? I think likewise the Smog Rocket was absolutely stunning. I mean, I enjoyed all of the cans that night, and that show in itself was kind of epic in what it ended up being. But they were really good. They were really enjoyable. I've been pleasantly surprised by some beers as well this season. So I was really surprised with way back right at the beginning of the season when we did the Hogsback Tea. Now, for what's a fairly standard supermarket beer, that was an absolute stunner. As was the Bishop's Finger was a real surprise as well in terms of kind of being real supermarket staple-y type things. I think I've enjoyed the times where we've done kind of versus type things where we did the piston head bottle versus can, and we did the Camden Hells versus the Camden USA Hells. Yeah. Probably done more lager than we've ever done before this season as well. But no, yeah, just without wanting to, I suppose, go over and sort of repeat the same beers, it's probably going to be along the same sorts of lines as what you were saying there. The Colonel London Sour, a really stunning beer that I'd go back to time and time again. I really enjoyed the Weird Beard Fade to Black as well, because that's a style that's right up my street. And as much as I probably hate to say this, the Brew by Numbers Citra Saison may have not turned me onto Saisons, but maybe at least making me be willing to give them another go.
Gave you a little more appreciation for the style, didn't it?
Yeah. I think the one thing for me for the season, if you look back at the range of styles that we've done this season, we've done a lot of different styles. We've probably done more than we've ever done before. And I think that's good, because I think what we've been able to do is we've been able to test our palates as well, to see if we're picking up what the different sort of flavours and the different sorts of styles.
Yeah, we definitely have done a crap ton of different styles. I mean, I keep forgetting about last week's beer, the Orval, which is like that top tier Trappist.
Yeah.
You know, that everyone loves. And just going back through the season, we've got lagers, funny lagers like the chocolate lager, the full range of Beavertown, which kind of straddles a load of different styles, and pales, ales, things which aren't quite sure what they are, IPAs, you know, all sorts.
I think we've only actually done the one IPA, purebred IPA, which was the Dobber, and we only ended up doing that as that wasn't originally planned to be part of the season, but we only ended up doing that because we ran the UK top 10 IPAs and that topped it, and I kind of felt as though that we should feature it, and it actually turned out to be quite a stunning beer, and another seamless link there into the fact that as you listen to this show, the UK top 10 lager poll should be back out there now as well, so maybe we'll see the winner of that appearing on a future show as well. But make sure you get your votes in, because the lines close at 8 p.m. on Monday the 25th of August.
So another thing that we did throughout this season, as regular listeners will know, was your interviews with brewers from around London and elsewhere. It wasn't purely London brewer interview series, but you went and met absolutely, I keep saying a shit ton of brewers from around London, and it's been amazing, you know, how open the industry has been in letting you interview them and being involved in the show. So I'm wondering if you could give us a rundown of all the brewers that you've interviewed this season, because it has literally been a shit ton.
I will do, and it's not just brewers, because there were a few other little bits that we did in there as well. So just a rundown of all the interviews that we've done this season, with thanks to all of these people for giving up their time. So James at Hop Stuff Brewery, Andrew from Honest Brew, Shane from Six Point in the States, Greg from Weird Beard, Joe and Johnny from Marble Brewery, Sean from Sandbrooks, Logan from Beavertown, and interestingly, and people won't know this until now, actually thanks to Logan twice, because we actually recorded the interview that went out with Logan twice. We recorded it once back in February when Beavertown were originally due to be featured in the first part of the series. We then got wind that they were going to start canning. We put it on hold, and then they moved, and Logan was really keen to do the interview again. So thanks to Logan for giving up his time twice. He's given up a load of time to me this year, showing me around different breweries and interviewing. So thanks, Logan. Do really appreciate your time. Also thanks to Will Hawkes for the recent London Beer City interview. Thanks to the guys at my local beer fest, the Whittam Beer Fest, for giving up their time for an interview as well. And finally, the one massive thank you that I want to finish with is for John Keeling and the guys at Fuller's. to be able to be given an opportunity to spend 2.5 hours in a room with a guy who's quite literally considered as brewing royalty was one of those moments where I think I said to you at the time, mate, I was like, wow, never really expected that we'd get the podcast to where we've got it to. So thanks to all of those guys for giving up their time. We've got loads more of this sort of stuff planned for future seasons. We're going to try and start going out there and maybe doing some interviews with festival organisers, distributors, other people from within the beer industry. So we're not just focusing on the brewers, but we will still be doing the brewer stuff as well, because we know you guys like that. So keep an eye out for what we've got coming up in the future.
Indeed. And just a quick rundown of all the people who have given up their time to actually be guests on the show. This is going to be maybe the final bit of navel gazing that we're doing as we look back at the entirety of season 4. Just a quick rundown from our guests from this season: Judy, number 1 fan; Andy Parker; Johnny from the Craft Beer Channel; Chris Hall; Daz Oakley; Connor Murphy; Andrew Hobbs; Peter and Paul from Hillside; David Patterson from Hogsback; Justin Mason; Emma from Cremer Brewery; Glenn Johnson; Ed Razzle; and, as we said, John Keeling from Fuller's. They're all the people who have been guests on the episode. You've got a look on your face like I've missed one.
You have. Just a more recent guest as well. Thanks to Ian from the 11 PM Somewhere podcast for coming on recently and chatting to us about plans that we've got with him. And also thanks to all of those people that took time to record and send in birthday messages, or just text us or tweet us a birthday message to include in our second birthday show. Because to be honest with you, yes, this is a little bit of navel gazing, but at the same time, we're reliant on you guys feeding into what we do. And if you didn't do it on Twitter and on Instagram and in person, we'd have not as much content as we have now. But we appreciate every single person that actually interacts with us and wants to come on the show and wants to chat to us on Twitter. So thank you everyone. Thanks for staying with us for 4 seasons now and 79 shows. Is this number 79?
This is number 79, yeah.
So, thanks for that. And there's more to come. We're only gonna keep doing this, and we're gonna keep getting better at doing what we're doing. So please keep feeding in, because we do appreciate it.
Indeedy. And to end all that off, here's a clip from the Great British Beer Festival, where Steve and his pals got a big job.
Great British Beer Festival, probably the final bar that we're going to do today. We've hit the St Austell bar, where there is a big job on offer. I'm still with Ant. In fact, it's now just me and Ant. Ant, what are you thinking of the big job?
The big job is full of nose, full of flavour, full of alcohol. Bloody lovely.
It's probably the biggest IPA we've done today. Big Job is a double IPA by St Austell. It's a 7.2% beer. Sadly, we have decided this is going to be our last beer of the day at the Great British Beer Festival. We're in here for just over 4 hours. We've been around all the beers. There's nothing that's really setting us on fire. So we're just going to finish our big jobs, and then we're going to head off to somewhere else. So we'll catch you when we get wherever it is we're going.
Right, okay. How are you going with your beer, mate? You still got a little bit left?
I have, worryingly, and I know it's only 275 mils, but I'm not feeling the effects of the 11%, and I do wonder whether this is one of those that if you'd finish it, if you had another one, you think, oh, you know what, I'll crack that one as well.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, you'd be on your backside gibbering in Spanish or Swahili or something on the floor, not knowing what you were saying.
This is... I know we say, oh, this is far too easy for a 7%, or this is far too easy for a 6.5%. This is far, far, far too easy for an 11%. This is dangerous. We've had some beers that are tipping the 10% before, but you could tell as soon as you open them or your first sip. This has that nice boozy burn, but it's kind of masked by the really smooth, milky smokiness of the beer itself.
It's just ridiculously smooth. That's the thing for me with this, how smooth it is, how smooth it's coming across, how smooth it's going down, and the fact that it's leaving next to no bitterness in the mouth, which just makes you, and it's just this wonderful sweetness, this sticky kind of, it's like creme brulee. It's got that kind of burnt brown sugarness of a creme brulee with that kind of vanilla custard underneath it. It's like creme brulee in a glass. This is just stunning, stunning stuff.
I'm not getting it being as sweet as you seem to be, but it's giving me flashbacks to Smog Rocket with that smokiness, but with a really warming underfeel to it from the ABV. It's an absolute. This is one of your favourite terms. It's an absolute cracker.
It is a cracker. It's a cheeky cracker. It's fantastic.
It's a cheeky cracker.
This is going in, and people probably would have already seen this by now, but this is going in untapped, 5 stars. This is an incredible beer, and it's up there as probably one of the best beers you're ever likely to drink if you can get hold of this. I think this year's version of the release will be available soon. There is another version just called Good King Henry, which is just the standard version of the stout. So if you are looking to get something like this to compare to this, just be careful, because if you just buy the Good King Henry, you might just be buying a standard stout. I don't know. I've not tried it, so I can't comment. But if the one that we're drinking here is the Special Reserve, this is the 2011. As far as I know, all of these bottles have gone. So if you are going to try and get a bottle of this, you're probably going to have to pay a premium for it. If you can't get a bottle of this, keep your eye open for probably what will be the 2012 release that will come either towards the end of this year or early next year.
Yeah. Cool. So have we said enough about this beer as a final summary, mate?
I think just one other interesting thing to know. There's a best before date on the label of the 9th of November 2021. I wish I had bought 2 bottles of this and left the second bottle maturing until 2021, because I think it would have just softened and it would have been even smoother than we're tasting this here. But no, incredible beer. I don't think we've actually mentioned the brewery. It's by Old Chimneys Brewery, who are based in Diss in Norfolk. Or is it Suffolk? Ooh, I should know that, being from up this way.
IP at Suffolk.
Is it Suffolk?
This is in Suffolk, yeah. It's not far from Ipswich.
Okay, I think it's on the border. It's kind of on the North Suffolk border.
Yeah, but IP is a Suffolk postcode.
So it's Old Chimneys Brewery. They're not on Twitter. So if you want to know more information about them, it's oldchimneysbrewery.com. Search them out. Have a look at the beers that they do. But if you do happen across a bottle of this, don't hesitate in buying it, because it's stunning.
Yes, indeed. Right. Okay. Over the last season or so, you've heard Steve extol the virtues of Magic Rock Cannonball quite a lot, but he has also occasionally said that a particular beer here or there is as good as Magic Rock Cannonball, or better. And we have a clip from Stephen from the weekend, from the toilet, as you'll soon hear, where
not in that sort of way.
No, not that sort of way.
From the echo. Let's just point that out.
From the ambience.
Yeah.
Where Steve makes a statement about his comments regarding Cannonball.
So I'm at Brewdog Shepherd's Bush, and I've had 2 Cannonballs, and right now I'd like to retract everything that I've ever said about anything ever being anywhere as near as good as Cannonball. You're not going to get better than this beer in the UK. It's all about the Cannonball.
Right, there we go. You're fading a bit by that point, were you, Stevie?
Yeah, I was well down the slippery slope by this point. I was seriously impressed when I sent these clips over to you that you were able to straight away send me back an email saying, why was one of them from the toilet? Probably because I just felt it was that time. I was on my own. I just felt as though I needed to confess to someone. So I've just done so to all of our listeners there.
You're in one of the standard confessional booths for the non-Catholic.
Yes, indeed.
Right, that about sums up our end of season special. Stevie, is there anything that I've missed?
Just another round of thanks, actually. Firstly, too many to mention, but to all of the breweries and brewers and home brewers and various people that have actually given us beer this season. I would love to name check you all. But the list would be long and distinguished, I'm sure. But if you have sent us beer and we've reviewed it, or we've blogged about it, or we've tweeted about it, we are very, very grateful for that. It doesn't change our opinion of a beer, whether we've paid for it or whether it's been sent to us. If beer is good, we'll say it's good. If it's not so great, we'll say it's not so great. But thanks to everybody who's sent us the beer. And thanks also to the three suppliers as well that we've had all season long, Owls by Mal, Honest Brew and Beer Boutique, who have provided us with a 10% discount. You've probably got about one more week to use those discounts for season 4 beers. We'll then be taking them down from the website while we begin to populate our season 5 beer list and the various offers that we're hoping to bring for you to you for season 5.
Right, the website is beero'clockshow.co.uk. Don't forget to check out those discount codes, as Steve mentioned, on the Season 4 beer list while you can. Twitter is at beero'clockshow. Steve is on Untapped at beero'clockshow Steve, and I'm there at Roku. And Instagram, do we have an Instagram of the week, mate?
We do, mate. We've got to have a final Instagram of the week of the year. And interesting, we've been asking people for feedback about what they've liked about this season, and the prizeless prize is one of the things that people have really enjoyed about this season. The introduction of the prizeless prize has been a thing that has become sought after. People have called it elusive. There's all sorts going on.
Elusive.
So, the elusive prizeless prize. So two comments this week. Firstly, thanks to everybody for participating in the Prizeless Prize on Instagram, using the hashtag Cheers, guys. Please don't stop while we're off the air, because I do enjoy seeing what you guys are drinking. We will bring the Prizeless Prize back again in season 5. You can be sure of that. Thanks also to one person who has actually taken the Prizeless Prize to an almost obsessive level. Plim Sean 101, Sean Smith, you, sir, are a legend. At least 4 or 5 pictures every single day. This man, I know you're a landlord of a pub, but the amount of beer that you get through deserves either a round of applause or a trip to the Priory. But thank you and you always try to do something different as well. So thanks for all the pictures you've sent in, Sean. We really appreciate that. But this week's Prizeless Prize, there can be only one winner every week. This week, finally, some might say, finally the Prizeless Prize goes to the master of beertography, the master of the beer pawn shop, Justin Mason, at 1970s Boy. Would have already retweeted his picture. It's on our Instagram account, but there's a great picture that he took this weekend of a beer by the river, which just stood out to me. So well done, Justin, at 1970s Boy on both Twitter and Instagram. You are our Prizeless Prize Instagram of the Week winner, or the last Prizeless Prize Instagram of the Week winner for Season 4.
And it will be back in Season 5.
It will be back, indeed.
Right, over our little summer break, we've got a summer special coming with 11 p.m. somewhere, fella, whose name I can't remember at the moment. Ian. Good old, my old mate Ian. And we've also got the Beer O'Clock Show lock-in live on the Google Hangout on a date in September that I can't remember at the top of my head.
Not again!
again.
Is it the 6th of September?
It is the 6th of September.
Yay!
Finally, he's nailed the date.
Which is a Saturday night from about 9 o'clock or so. 10 people on Google Hangouts. It'll be streamed on YouTube. Come along, you can watch us get pissed. Have a little bit of a chat with us. We'll be interacting on Twitter, going through a shitload of beers and reviewing as a group Thornbridge Kipling. I got the beer right, didn't I?
You did get the beer right, and
I
thank you
did.
to
We're
Thornbridge
here
for supplying everybody with that beer as well.
Exactly. Our friends at Thornbridge. Right, Stephen.
Mark.
Thank you,
I'm
sir.
a little emotional right now. I'm welling up. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to make it to the end. It's
the end now. You've made it.
Okay, it's been the highlight of this first half of the year, mate. I know we're only off air for a few weeks, but I just feel sad because I've really enjoyed this season. It's been really good. Mate, I love doing this for you on a Monday evening, and long may it continue.
Indeedy. And as a special little farewell treat to our listeners who have lasted this far through this episode, here's a little clip from the end of Stephen's beery adventure on Friday, where he checked in his 1000th beer on Untapped with a very special beer. I will warn you, there is intense drunkery.
I'm embarrassed. I don't even think I'll be able to listen to this part of the show because just listening to that clip was bad enough.
Intense drunkery and a very excited little boy. Here we go. Thanks very much, everyone. Looking forward to entertaining you in season 5 with my buddy Stephen.
And we'll be back on the 19th of September, which is also my birthday. So get your birthday messages ready. Yay!
This is it. Goodbye, everyone. Here's Stephen, quite pissed.
Great British Beer Festival, no longer there, at Brewdog in Shepherd's Bush instead. And it's just a pivotal moment because I've just hit my 1000th unique check-in special badge. Hashtag badgewanker, hashtag ultimate badgewanker. Here we are drinking the Magic Stone Dog collaboration at Brewdog Shepherd's Bush. And what do you think, mate?
I'm just really proud to be here. It's one of those moments in your life where you can't believe you're here. I'm just like, Steve's my hero, and now I'm here with his 1000th badge. Just well done, Steve. You got stuck in. Well done.
Thank you very much. And we've got at Greg 1954. Greg, what are you thinking of the Magic Stone Rock collaboration?
This is a collaboration of three terrific breweries. There's the fruitiness, the chill, the hoppiness. Terrific. Thank you.
Brilliant, and it's such a great moment to share my 1000th beer with you guys. And of course, and there's at RDG Martin, at David Martin here with us. Putting an interesting face at the moment right now about the 1000th beer. Dave, what do you think about Magic Stone Rock?
I'm speechless.
Brilliant, and there we have it. Beer, hashtag beer 1000. Here we go, and it's done. Thank you very much.
Mind you, I'd rather have a pint of Green King IPA.
Oh, no, fuck off right now. Here we go. Magic Stone Rock, it's the beer to die for. I'm so pleased to be drinking this as my one. Yeah, woo, woo,
Steve.
woo, woo, woo. Hashtag all the booze.